have a YouTube channel, alright? We all have a YouTube channel. We're all standing in a circle. We all have YouTube channels. Great. Fantastic. We're all a bunch of idiots. Guardians of the Galaxy, released in 2014 and is directed by James Gunn, who has also directed such films like Slither, Super, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, The Suicide Squad, and the soon-to-be-released Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Plus, he's also the co-chair of DC Studios, so I mean, this guy's pretty much on the map, I guess. And this movie is starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Lee Pace, Michael Rooker, Karen Gillan, Jimon Hounsou, John C. Reilly, Glenn Close, and Benicio del Toro. Peter Quill is the legendary outlaw of the galaxy known as Star-Lord. He has recently been commissioned to go find a secret orb on a secret planet and sell it back to Xandar for a profit. But along the way, a couple other characters try to take him down and collect the bounty that he has, which leads them to all being captured and then soon becoming friends and soon becoming the legendary Guardians of the Galaxy. And they earned that title because the secret orb that he was going after actually contains an Infinity Stone, and then the Kree guy Ronan wants it for himself to kill Xandar because of things that they did to his father and then his father before him. So he's going to destroy the planet, but then the Guardians come in and they're like, "Brah!" And then Lee Pace is like, "Brah!" And then Chris Pratt's like, "I'm going to do a dance-off, bro!" And then Turd Blossom. And then the Guardians win, and it's all cool. This movie was such a big surprise. I remember when this movie was announced at Comic-Con many, many years ago, and everyone at Hall H was like, "Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's great, that's cool. We all know what that is, right guys? Yeah, I'm a cool comic book nerd, right, guys?" Yeah. Before this movie was announced, there was only like 5 people in the world that knew what Guardians of the Galaxy was. And I just remember hearing so many, like, "Yeah, we're getting Guardians, I'm so excited," online and in social media. I'm like, you have no idea what Guardians of the Galaxy is. Stop putting up a front, you ain't fooling no one. And many people were thinking this was going to be the first flop of the MCU because no one knew what it was. There was a raccoon, there was a talking tree in here. Just looked stupid. And like, how cool could this be? And it ended up being one of the most successful entries in the MCU, and many people today say it's one of their favorite MCU films in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hell, a lot of people say it's one of their favorite films. I wouldn't go so far to say that, but I do remember watching this and reminding that it gave me the same feeling that I had when I watched Star Wars for the first time. Just this weird, kooky, really cool space adventure with a whole bunch of fun characters that were trying to take down just this evil bad guy. Why this person was an evil bad guy? Well, because we need an evil bad guy, that is why. The movie's just fun, and it has great dialogue, it has great characters, and seeing the relationships build between all of these characters to where they form this bond called the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's beautiful to see in that beautiful climax. Plus you have a whole bunch of fun space battles and spaceships going against this big, like, Death Star-like structure, even though that final ending climactic battle, as I'm watching it this time, realize, like, why did this even have to happen? Ronan has the Infinity Stone, and this stone can blow up an entire planet if it touches the ground. So he wants to go to Xandar because he wants to destroy the planet because he hates the Xandarians. Which is okay, that's fine, you got your motivation, cool. Why, though, do you plant your ship above the city, the main city of the planet, where all of these soldiers from the Xandarian race are stationed? Why not plant yourself on the other side of the planet where there are no ships and there are no fighters to go against you? That way you can just casually land down, place the stone on the planet, and you'll be successful. Why do you have to go down onto the main city where you have all the spaceship battles? Because it's the climax and we need to have a spaceship battle, that's why. Before watching this movie again for this review, I always thought that Ronan was one of the worst villains of the MCU. When I realized that, like, it was Star Wars Episode 1 again, where the Trade Federation, like, planted themselves on the other side of the planet when they could have just invaded the capital just right there. It's the same thing here, just in reverse. Why didn't you go on the other side where there was no one? And then you could have just blown it up that way. Why did you have to go to the main city? Lee Pace, Ronan, you a dumbass! Now, this was our first introduction to Chris Pratt in the role of Star-Lord, and really before this, he was the bro, he was the annoying guy on Parks and Rec. And James Gunn, I remember he didn't want to cast Chris Pratt because of his size and his physique, but then Chris Pratt, worked really hard and got into shape, and plus he was able to read well with the other characters, so James Gunn cast him, and the rest is history. And I think he's good in this role. I think he absolutely loves it, and I think he's having a blast, and I like seeing actors enjoy the roles that they are in. They want to be there, because there are many superhero films where you look at the actor and like, you do not want to be here at all, do you, sir? And it's obvious in your performance. Not so with Chris Pratt. He really loves this role, and I think he wants to keep doing it. Who knows what's going to happen after Volume 3, if there's even going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy after that. But I do think Chris Pratt is a lot of fun in this movie. Big standout for me, though, and he's probably my favorite character in the entire MCU, is Drax. And Dave Bautista, how he portrays him, is perfect. It is fan-frickin-tastic. The literalness, the deadpanness. Bautista's this big, muscled-up guy. He never really got an opportunity before this. Maybe some small roles here and there. This is the one that put him on the map outside of WWE. And people realize, like, oh, wait, Dave Bautista, he's a real cool guy. We like working with him. And plus, he's also really funny. Let's start casting him in all this other stuff. Dave Bautista, Drax, is great. Vin Diesel is here collecting a paycheck, and I mean, and not to dog on Vin Diesel, but you're saying the same line over and over and over again in different inflections and in different languages, but come on, you're collecting a paycheck here. All you're doing is just saying, I am Groot. Then you got a big name like Bradley Cooper voicing Rocket Raccoon. Rocket is a great character, kind of annoying at times, especially if you play that Guardians of the Galaxy PS4 game. Oh my god. Rocket is such a jerk. Now, I think that the voice that Cooper settles on in this film is not the same accent and voice that he does in Volume 2 and then in the Avengers movies and everything else that we've seen Rocket do. It's just slightly different. I don't know what the note was to make him change from this one to Volume 2. We'll talk about Volume 2 next time, but his voice is definitely different because I've watched the other movies more, and then I go back to this one and I'm like, oh, maybe you were a younger version of Rocket? I'm not sure. Guardians of the Galaxy is a ton of fun, and it was a nice breath of fresh air to the MCU because we were getting at this time the same thing with the same characters over and over and over again. We had Iron Man, we had Thor, we had Captain America, even though Captain America Winter Soldier was fantastic. It's my favorite of the MCU. We were wanting to embrace the weirdness of the Marvel Universe, the Marvel comic universe, because there's so much weirdness, there's so much color, there is so much just grandiose, grand scale of everything, and here was our first little introduction to the bigger world that is the universe that happens in the Marvel Universe. So yeah, this film is incredibly important. It's such a delight. It's many people's favorite films. It's one of my favorite in the MCU. It's an easy watch. It's just so much fun. That's the biggest word I could say here. This movie is so much fun. I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, what did you think about it? Or if you've never heard it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you on the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.